Have we been sleeping on Kevin Magnussen all these years? After dismissing him as a mediocre driver for so long, a driver who routinely crashes into his teammate and finishes in the bottom half of the grid, could it possibly be we were wrong? Could it be that KMag is actually good? Welcome back, Formula 1 fans, to another video. While you're here, help us out by hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and ring that notification bell to be updated when we post new videos. Yeah, okay, you don't get into Formula 1 if you're a terrible driver, unless your daddy is besties with a murderous dictator and war criminal.
As you know, I have lost my...
So really, we should have known Kevin Magnussen isn't as awful as some of his career would have us believe. Despite being a mere 29 years old, the Dane is one of the established drivers in the sport when you look at how many years he's had behind the wheel of an F1 car. His dad, while not besties with any war criminals to my knowledge, is hardly chopped liver in the world of motor racing. Jan Magnussen has driven in F1 and NASCAR and has achieved 4 class wins at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, so KMag comes from quite established racing stock. In his early days, he took the rookie title and 3rd place in the 2010 German Formula 3 Championship, before joining Carlin in British Formula 3 and then Formula Renault 3.5 series, where in his first year he came 7th in the championship and the following year he won the whole thing. In 2014 he entered Formula 1 driving for McLaren, replacing the then quite disappointing Sergio Perez. In his first race he managed to avoid crashes and other problems for the rest of the drivers and crossed the line in 3rd, becoming the 2nd Dane to score points in F1, the first being his dad Jan. He also became the 2nd person after Lewis Hamilton in 2007 to score a podium finish on debut. It was downhill from there, mostly due to the car, and he was demoted to reserve driver in 2015 after McLaren signed Alonso, and boy wouldn't Alonso come to regret that decision. For 2016, KMag had been in talks with Haas about a potential seat, but they announced Grosjean and Gutierrez, and Kevin signed for Renault, partnering Jolyon Palmer. His year at Renault was mostly a disaster, being a string of tyre failures, car problems, crashes and rule infringements. He finished the season in 16th, but was responsible for 7 of Renault's disappointing 8 points that year. He hopped ship to Haas in 2017, joining new teammate Romain Grosjean. 2017 wasn't a great year for KMag or Haas, with numerous incidents resulting in 0-point finishes. He had collisions with Kvyat and Stoffel Vandoorne, and of course Hungary saw the now infamous run-in with Nico Hülkenberg, prompting a very public falling out between the two that saw them refuse to speak to each other for 5 years. Hulk confronted KMag and called him the most unsporting driver on the grid, to which Kevin responded with a phrase that has become synonymous with the pair and one I can't possibly repeat because I'm a lady.
Jamen, han prøver på yderbanen.
Once again, most unsportive driver of the grid.
Suck my balls, mate.
Yeah, you're really good.
2018 gave Haas a much stronger car, but incidents still plagued KMag. At Baku he collided with Pierre Gasly, who called him the most dangerous guy he'd ever raced with. In Italy he had a run-in with Alonso, who he insulted thoroughly in interviews post-race, and also collided with Sergio Perez. In Japan there was an incident with Charles Leclerc, with Charles calling KMag stupid on team radio. And finally, in 2020, Haas basically became the backmarkers we know and love, and in dire need of a cash injection, booted both KMag and Grosjean in favour of new, sponsored drivers in the form of rookies Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. It seemed like KMag's F1 career was over, until early this year, when it turned out having a dad who's besties with a war criminal can be damaging to your reputation and job contract, and Mazepin was dropped by Haas and Gunter gave KMag a call. And now it seems like we may have been too hard on KMag all these years. Despite having missed all of pre-season testing and not having driven an F1 car in over a year, he jumped in that Haas for free practice at the opening weekend of the season and put it on 7th on the starting grid in quali, Haas's best starting position in ages. He went on to finish the race an incredible 5th place, not too shabby for your first Grand Prix in 400 plus days. Was it just KMag's bad luck that had us questioning his skills all these years? McLaren were on their way down the rankings when he started for them in 2014, and Renault were in just as bad a place when he joined them in 2016. Haas had some strong moments in 2018, but ultimately there were reliability issues throughout his time with them, and he was already plagued by reputation issues and what seemed like the mistrust of his fellow drivers. His well-documented feud with Hulk only made his image as a driver even worse, with the two snipping at each other in press conferences and interviews. How much of all that was bad luck on KMag's part and bad press, and how much was actually down to his driving ability? How much of it has been that a year out has done the Dane some good? He's recently become a family man, and maybe the settling down has steadied him. We may never know, but it looks like we may be forced to actually like Kevin Magnussen this year, because he's off to an incredible start. Not only is he replacing one of the most disliked drivers to ever appear in Formula 1, earning him immediate brownie points, he's actually given Gunter Steiner something to smile about. And if this doesn't get an entire episode dedicated to it in next year's Drive to Survive, I'll be demanding a refund on my Netflix membership. Sure, Haas have a much stronger car this year, and sure, Mick Schumacher is still very much a rookie compared to KMag's old hat, but that doesn't completely explain why Kevin Magnussen has seen such a great start to 2022. Maybe we're just finally seeing the real KMag. If we are, we like what we see. After Hulk was called in to replace Sebastian Vettel at Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, get well soon Seb, we hear that the two have finally buried the hatchet and are back on speaking terms. Let's just hope we continue to see this growth and improvement from KMag throughout the season, and let's hope Haas have finally given him a car he can do well in. What do you think, Formula 1 fans? Let us know in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching!